when I got into this network, one of the people that always spoke very intently about the Africa that we want is Lucy Mbabazi. And she kept telling us, you know, you can't Africa you want. Now, Lucy, I don't know that if the Africa I want is the one that's in a pandemic, but lo and behold, we have it. One of the things has been, how do we navigate ourselves away from this crisis using basic leadership principles? And I'd just like you to speak to that, but also to tell us your own thoughts about what the keynote address was.
Yeah, thank you so much, Raymond. And that was brilliant. I was here clapping because first of all, women in leadership and women in leadership like Anne is really inspiring. That was fantastic. The key takeaways that you mentioned that I think about so many times is, there is no Calvary coming. It is we that have to do the work to build our continent. And I think the pandemic has been one of those great equalizers in many ways, because we all stood still, the world stood still at the same time for all of us. Rich or poor, you couldn't access what you need as you needed it. And indeed, that old normal is gone. And it was also a great accelerator for digital. And I was so happy to hear you mention how you had to really take care of your staff in order to take care of your customers. Happy staff, happy customers is essentially how society works, right? So we can't move forward unless we are all well taken care of, and to go to the heart of what matters most, which is how people are doing, is amazing. And hearing how digital made it possible for you to meet outside of a stadium and virtually, in my old job at EcoBank, over 10,000 employees also were meeting in town halls, and it was really remarkable to see that something that was so opposed before is now being embraced. The other thing which also spoke to what I love doing, which is the whole cashless Africa business, is the removal of fees for, I don't know if that was a move by the bank or it was mandated by Ralph, but it's something that we saw a lot of during the pandemic. And we always think about digitization in a way that it has to be meaningful for people, and it has to be meaningful in such a way that it is better than cash. So the biggest blockage to digitizing our economies is the cost of banking, the cost of transacting, and to see financial players actively remove those barriers was inspiring. Although during the pandemic, a lot of those fees were waived. Now we're seeing a return of of those fees. But yeah, the Africa we want is one where we have to do the work, like the board chairman of Leo says, to do the work of building the Africa that we have right now. The pandemic amplified the need for us to digitize our economy. This morning I was reading about the Kenya governor talking about how there needs to be more investment in connectivity, more investment in digitization in order to really help us recover quickly, and also include more people into the economy. For Africa, the pandemic amplified, when you look, majority of us are working in the informal sector, hand to mouth, wages are not digitized. When the pandemic came, many of us were stranded as a result of that, because we were typically used to lining up for cash. Now we are stranded, there's lockdown, and we can't get cash. So it really amplified the need for the continent to digitize our economies by digitizing wages, digitizing the way we do business. Shops were closed, supermarkets were closed, markets where majority of us transact were closed. So if we swiftly digitize, which is an opportunity for our young leaders, our emerging leaders, to innovate around how do we bring more people online, how do we design solutions that are meaningful for everybody, for that lady who sells fruits and vegetables alongside the road, or in the market? Do your tools serve them? For those who are in the financial sector, is banking attractive enough, or whatever financial services that we are providing? Are they convenient? Are they easy to understand? Are they affordable? As it is right now, as I look from a Rwanda vantage point, where I took some time to I had an intern look at the pricing of banking and mobile money and everything in the context of moving everyone online, and it's really expensive. Banking is expensive, mobile money is expensive. So for us to digitize our economies and get people to move away from cash, it's going to take designing solutions that are convenient and cost effective in such a way that it's better than cash. The other thing, speaking to what Anne mentioned around, there is no cavalry coming. Donors whom we typically depend on are looking within because they have their own problems. But we have so much cash in circulation that if we digitized, could make a difference in developing our economy. So digitization is directly linked to resource mobilization. So all the monies in the economy, whether it is my 500 francs or someone's millions of francs, if they're all in our national treasury, I'm sure Anne and Ralph would love this. If all these monies are put together and in our treasuries, then we don't have to depend so much on, which I hope we can in the Africa that we want, get away from needing donor aid, because we do have those resources here. We just need to congregate them and bring them into financial institutions and make sure that everybody has equal access to financial services and tools in such a way that we can equally participate meaningfully in building the Africa that we want. So I was so touched by the speech, and it spoke so much to what I saw COVID as I sat in my house. It was a great equalizer. All of us were stranded at the same time, stopped at the same time, and also an accelerator on why we really need to digitize everything from wages of everybody, the way that we do business, we need to get online, logistics, everything has got to be done. And as we do that, I believe that Africa can stand on our own feet with the resources that we have. We can borrow locally from Stanbic Bank instead of going to an international bank to borrow. These are all things that we can do when we digitize. And I really look forward to hopefully seeing more of that work done, especially in my new role at the Better Than Cash Alliance. So thank you so much. That's it, Raymond, for now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lucy. Those are very, very, very strong points that you've made. And